What's up, everybody? It is Colin talking ball. You guys made it here. You're here. I'm very happy to have you here, and I'm joined by some lovely guests. And you guys all made it here, so that's another wonderful thing too. Everybody, as you can already see, I'm joined. We'll go around in the circle here by the lovely Chris from Meta Football TV. How's it going, Chris?
Afternoon. Lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me back.
It's always nice to have you. And then we've got Ash Maddock from Spurs Kings TV. What is up, man?
What's up, people? You good? I hope everyone's blessed. Thanks for having me on. First time I'm a virgin, busting my virginity on here. And big up to everyone in the chat or watching it later, etc., etc. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day too.
Doing my job for me, man, and you're killing it. You're killing it, Ash. Yeah, big up to everybody out there watching. I appreciate you. There's tons of places you could be. There's other Spurs channels you could be watching right now, but you're here, and we all appreciate that. So thank you so much. We got people in the chat already. Jess from JSY Talks Football Fan Channel stopped in and said, smash the likes. Big up to Jess, of course. Smash them likes, please. We got Julie Sievers. That's my mom, for anybody that doesn't know. Big up, Mom. One of the biggest Spurs supporters that I know. We're going to London in 2 weeks, man. Can't wait. So big up, Mom. And then we got my buddy Sean, part of the group here, a member of the channel, Cosmic Sean, part of La Familia. He says, big up panel and mi familia. What is up, Sean? Hope you're good, man. Hope you're good. And then Jess says, hope everyone is well. I'm great. I was telling Ash before the show started, it's my day off. Can't really beat that. You can't really beat that. Boys, I'll just kind of jump into it. I mean, life as a Spurs fan isn't all aces right now, but you know who is aces? It's Ian, and he's back.
Yeah, back. Connection sometimes goes. Unstable internet in Spain. That's what it is.
As Chris should know all about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ian, you doing well? Everything good on your end, buddy?
So I turned my volume down instead of up, so you'll have to ask me that again.
No, everything good? You okay?
Everything is good apart from losing the NLD, which is never good. And
it's not. But it's not.
Yeah, all's good.
Glad that everything, at least personally, is good. Yeah, Spurs we can't control, but you know our lives. I'm glad those are all going okay. We got Alan in the chat saying hi, Colin and panel. Big up to Alan, Spurs fan from sunny California. Must be nice. That's all I got to say. That's you, Chris. Then we got Kuva saying big up, Colin, Ash, Chris.
Kuva, hi.
What's up, Kuva?
Kuva's one of the best. Top bloke that Kuva is. And then Audio Artisan is here. Afternoon chaps in chat. Big up Audio. Always here. We always appreciate it. Heron is here. I haven't seen Heron in a second. He says, big up Colin, panel, and everyone in the chat. Big up, dude. Really good to see you, man. Hope you're well. Did Colin deny you access until your payment went through? Jeez. Yes, that is exactly what Kuva busted my balls, but I like it. Alan saying Ash, he's a big fan. Love it. You gotta love it, man. And then Twitter blowing up. So I've been told, although I haven't followed up with regard to Everton on the brink of liquidation. Have any of you fellas heard about that? I'll look it up a little in a second, but had you heard anything about that?
Something about the 777 takeover. Yeah.
Snap. That's no good at all.
I haven't seen that. That would be one of the biggest football stories ever. If we've seen football clubs go bust, but not top Premier League clubs, not one that was traditionally considered the one of the big six.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Have they ever been out of the Premier League since the Premier League's inception?
I haven't seen this story. I don't know. Is anyone in the UK at the moment?
I am. I haven't
seen it. I mean, I'm in Spain. I'm not on the edge of the universe.
You don't have your finger on the pulse.
Story.
Well, yeah.
Must be honest. I haven't seen that story.
Well, I know I'm not an Everton supporter, but I hope it's not true. no one wants to see that. It's never good, I don't think. And there'll be a lot of upset people, and it doesn't really affect me. If Everton's in the Premier League, they're not challenging us for anything. So for their sake, I hope the club doesn't get completely liquidated. So when they say liquidation, what does that mean? Explain that to me. Like how gone are we talking? Like
Wow.
disbanded completely? Just like is Everton is the name of the team? You know what I mean? Like, are they just knocked down a bunch of divisions? What would happen in that scenario if with the liquidation?
Yeah, Colin, I can tell you here, Kieran Maguire, who is, I guess, Britain's leading authority on football finance, Everton calling insolvency advisors amid fresh doubt over 777 takeover, as per Guardian Sport. Someone may have to read this to get up to date, but this is serious. If you're having to call in insolvency advisors, that's
not a good look. No, it's
serious.
Never a good thing.
That's really serious. Plus, of course, they've got all the ongoing debt with which, thanks, Andres. With I hadn't seen that. I've been doing other things today. Having said that, it's serious, big serious, because they've got the problem of the new stadium. So without the external funding that was going, and of course Ken Wright's dead now, and what have you. Jesus, that is serious.
Sometimes it's stuff like that, and I know I'll sound like a really big donut right now, but it's stuff like that makes me glad that the finances at our club are at least look to be well taken care of and well looked after. There's things about our club and our owners and our chairman and stuff that we don't like, but this isn't the thing that we have to fear.
No,
I don't think so. That's
for. I did a show with Eugene a couple of weeks ago on when the annual report came out, the financial statements. And I did it with Arthur, King Arthur, King Arthur, who is
of course.
an accountant. Our balance sheet is really robust. There will be few football clubs in Britain, probably in Europe, that have got a better set of financials than we have. So it's not going to happen to Tottenham, certainly not at the moment, and certainly won't be happening under the current ownership for all the right and wrong reasons. I'm actually quite shaken at that news.
It's crazy. Yeah, and to me, it's crazier to you guys. That have had Everton in your life forever. It's just been a team that's always been there. It's very strange, very, very strange. But we'll get into some Spurs news. Ryan G, real quick, to get the chat caught up. Ryan G is saying big up Colin, Ash, and all the other gentlemen in the chat. Big up Ryan, Chris's favorite Northerner, right?
He is. He's the only Northerner that I really know that isn't from the North. But yeah.
Ronnie, though, is saying Levy out, Enoch out, Ange out. We know how Ronnie's feeling today. Everybody, we know how Ronnie's feeling today. Andres, though, says, insolvency advisors have been called in. Big up. Peter says Ronnie out. So maybe, disagreements. I love it a little bit. Hey, Jess, hope you're well. Colin, see, even when I'm not about, I give you the scoops. Exactly, Jose. That's what I pay you the good money for. Sean said he heard something about bankruptcy. Yeah, dude. Can I just add my congratulations to Asthmatic and his co-host Marlon? Oh my God, you guys reached 2K subs and I missed it. Sorry, dude. Congrats. Big congrats on that, man. I think I'll actually say that's probably because I was on your channel last week. And I think that I usually drive the subs way up. Something about the red beard. People are like, ooh. So yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Well
done,
and you as well, Chris.
Well, I got you at least one, or was it minus? I don't know what way it goes. It goes
There
either
was,
plus
there
or
was a
minus.
one.
I don't know what way it
no,
went, but I influenced at least something in those 2000. But anyway,
Good stuff. Good stuff. Wayne
Well done.
Bonner is in the house, though. Wayne Bonner, big supporter of the channel, saying, "Sup, everyone? Hope you're well and pumped for us whooping Chelsea shit on Thursday. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely.
Hopefully.
Absolutely." And then Mia is in the house, another channel member, saying, "Big up, guys. Big up, Mia." I saw a little bit of you in Leo's video. It seemed like you were trying hard not to be in the video. Hearing is asking, Ange out shouts already. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what I've been hearing and seeing in places. And that's partly what I wanted to obviously talk to you guys about. Obviously, Ronnie, Peter's just kidding. He doesn't want you out. You can always stay. Dekaru, though, is in the house. Big up Dekaru, representing from Australia, like so many others, saying everyone out, including me. Heron's asking, isn't that a bit too reactionary?
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Ryan, wishing you a congrats, Ash.
Thank you.
And yeah, guys, we can't really get past it. Well, first I want to say welcome in, everybody. Hope you are kicking today's ass. You got to in this world. It's a rough place. It's a rough and tumble place. I've got some great guests, guys. As you can see, you're in for a treat. It's going to be a lovely show. But so Arsenal headed home with all 3 points. Us guys all haven't talked much since. In you guys' opinion, was it a deserved result? I'll start with Ash. Do you think that we deserve to lose? Do you think that's? I mean, if you lose, you deserve to, I guess. So that's a silly question. But do you think that the score line was a fair reflection of the match?
I think personally, all season we've not all season, but a big part of the season we have suffered with the whole set piece issue. We've also suffered with getting hit on the counter attack quite easily, and unfortunately, that was our Achilles heel on the actual day. Sorry, and so do we deserve on that basis? Yeah, I mean, they would have had 2 weeks, maybe 15 days to prepare and think, okay, what are Arsenal's strengths? And my worry going into the North London derby was that Arsenal were very good at set pieces. So I'm pretty sure
you mentioned it on your show. We even spoke together before. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they would have gone through some of that. But I think, Arteta, credit to him, because he clearly identified our weakness, and the first opportunity they got, they scored off the back of it. Some people will say, that Højbjerg was unlucky to score an own goal, but they created the environment for that to happen, in my opinion. Right. And so, is the result fair? Yeah, because if it was the other way around and Romero converted his chances, because he did have some, then we would say we deserve to win. Do you know what I mean? And there's been many a time when, for example, we played Liverpool, and at one point Liverpool had big chances. They had a goal offside ruled out, and I don't think it was offside, unfairly. And we got the rub of the green, and we scored the last minute, and they had 9 men. They had 9 men, and we got the result. Are we saying Liverpool are unlucky and we didn't deserve to win? Do you know what I mean? No, we were celebrating our heads off. I was there at the stadium. I was going crazy. Do you know what I mean? People were saying, "Oh, look, we can beat Liverpool. We can beat anyone." It gave us real ambition. So I can't be a hypocrite and say, Arsenal didn't deserve to win it when they had, they took their chances. Do you know what I mean? It could have been even more. I thought when Saka had an opportunity as well, and Vicario
forced a good save.
Forced a good save at that particular time, and that time it was 3-0. And so we did have our moments, but at the end of it, football is about being clinical in those moments. We could look at the stuff that we did do well, because I think that the lads did show character at times. It's easy to go 1-0 down and drop your heads, but we kept fighting on. It's easy to go down 2-0 down and drop your heads. We kept going 3-0. We kept going. Do you know what I mean? We didn't surrender, and that's what I like about what Andrew's doing at the moment. Despite the results, we're still playing football. Yes, we're being naive at times, and we are being punished as a result of it, because at this level, when you're playing with elite level, to be fair to Arsenal, they're going for the league. You know, they had to approach the game slightly different to how we were going to. Did we play into their hands? Some would say so, or did we force them to play in a particular way? I think that's where the lovely panel are going to jump in and probably debate and have some, have some talking points there. So overall, I just felt like when it came to decision making in the final third, this isn't the first time where a team sat in almost like a low block and we struggled to break them down and create like real big moments, real big opportunities, if that makes sense. Like I wanted like standout moments where I'm like, Son should have finished that, or Kulu should have finished that. Johnson was 1v1. Why is he not scoring that? Do you know what I mean? If we're creating more of those type of opportunities, I think we deserve to win on that basis. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just how I saw it personally. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very disappointed for it because I thought we're at home. We've got the fans. We've got the momentum in terms of like, everyone's more or less fit, apart from Udogie. I think a lot of people are upset about the starting 11. A lot of people are debating about that. They would have changed.
Noticed that as well. Yeah, this or that, or taking out Højbjerg for Skip or Sarr. Sorry, not Skip. Wow, that would have been strange. But yeah.
So when you look at those type of things, then that's when people look at the manager and say, look, did he get it right on the day? Do you know what I'm saying? And Arsenal, they picked their strongest team, I believe, with Havertz playing the false nine. I think that worked with Odegaard sometimes dropping into the midfield or dropping a little bit deeper as an auxiliary defensive mid to help with the progression up the field. I thought that Partey and Rice in the double pivot helped a lot with Gabriel and Saliba. They were solid, and they helped as well at times their fullbacks. So when Tomiyasu did, invert at times, I thought Partey was there to clean up and win the balls up, and then Rice was busy pressing our players, so they kind of disrupted our flow. But overall, they had a game plan, in my opinion, stuck to it. And at times when Arteta needed to change things and he saw that he was getting overrun, especially down the flanks, I think he tweaked a few things. Do you know what I mean? And so that paid off. There was times that we had control, and there was times where in the second half they had a little bit of control. Do you know what I mean? When we scored, we were a bit more front-footed. We sacrificed a lot more players forward. And Romero, what a game he had! Like, that's what you wanted from a captain. You kind
Andreas isn't holding back here. Holy shit!
you kind of wanted those type of performances from every single player, and even Ange alluded to that. Ange said, like, if only I can get that into the rest of the players. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what he wants. Like, when he says we don't stop, I think that's what he means. Like, we don't stop. Like, he wants that type of aggression, that front-footedness, busy-bodied, hard-working. And if we lose, we lose. But you need to be brave in all areas of the pitch, take risks, and then we look at where we are at the end of the day. But yeah, that's just how I saw it, bro. Sorry for talking for so long.
No, I liked it. It was all wonderful, wonderful bits. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just reading through a comment, trying to get the next thing set up. And whoa, Andreas is not a happy man. I'm going to go ahead and star that, Andreas. We will get back to that. Adrian, thoughts on the match? I mean, where do you think we were weakest? What lost us the match? Was it a matter of a coaching problem, or like I'm saying, do you think it was individual mistakes from players? Combination? It could be a combination. What do you think was the deciding factor, I guess, in that match? Because a lot of people were saying, with Udogie out, we were in trouble, down that side. I don't really think. I mean, obviously, Saka scored and had another opportunity that forced to save, but I don't think that Davis got skinned. Like, I know it's asking you to sum up a lot in a couple sentences, I guess. But where do you think the match was kind of won and lost, and what do you think Arsenal did that tilted the tides in their favor?
I think that was for Ian. Yeah. Sorry about that. Thanks, Ian. Ian, that was towards you. Sorry about that.
Is this sorry, Colin, who were you asking?
I was asking you. I apologize. Yes, sir. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
No, that was me.
the team that scores the most goals wins. The rest is only gossip. I mean, that was Jimmy Cyril, who, when I was a kid, was the manager of Notts County, rather. You see, I think there's fine margins between success and failure in a game like that. I didn't think we played badly. I think, as Ash says, Romero takes one of his chances. The offside was offside, but how tight was it? It was as tight gets. The referee could have given a penalty for the foul on, or the tackle on Becky. Personally, I didn't think it was a penalty, but there's people who think it was. If he'd have given it, I don't think it's one that would have been overturned because there was clearly some contact. Say Romero, particularly the one he hit the post with, he probably should have scored. The goals that we lost were poor goals to lose. But Højbjerg's one hits the post instead of going in like Romero's. And we're not conceding an early goal. We maybe get the first goal. There really are tight margins. I thought we did okay, but I mean, and there is a but. And you see, they say our Ange out stuff is bloody ridiculous. I mean, no wonder the club gets into trouble if people are serious that we're going to have our fifth manager in 5 years and expect the club to actually progress in any shape or form. I mean, when you consider, I think Arteta finished 8th in his first season.
I have that pulled up here, yeah.
3rd in his first season. Klopp finished 8th in his first season. This is the 5th season of Arteta, where he's only now looks like he's able to mount a proper title challenge. I mean, clearly some things need to change. But anybody who thinks that by constantly chopping and changing the manager is the way to actually progress the football club is off their rockers. Seriously off their rockers. I'm not saying that Ange is necessarily going to be the long-term answer, but you'll know as well as anybody, Colin, that Ange was my first choice for the job. In fact, my only choice for the job. I felt he absolutely had what it takes to be our manager. I thought he would play the kind of football that the fans would like, and in the main, he does.
I agree.
That's not going to say I'm probably of all the online streamers, and living in Scotland was the biggest Ange disciple. So I'm not going to run for cover at the first sign of trouble. But there were times he did struggle against the low block when the teams like Kilmarnock and Motherwell and what have you would come to Celtic Park, defend deep. And he doesn't always have a plan B. He'll alternate the players, but he doesn't adjust the tactics very much. Ultimately, he would win more often than not. He won 2 titles with Celtic, but then he had better players.
Comparatively to the rest of the league, yeah, I know what you're saying.
With the same low block. I am concerned that they don't appear to be learning the mistakes, losing the ball in transition and conceding the same goal. And sometimes it's like effing Groundhog Day. The weakness on the set pieces is something that we're not learning from and don't appear to be improving. And I'm trying to remember what game it was. Was it Manchester City in the Cup where Vicario let one, and since then teams have been really getting players into the 6-yard box and what have you. And if Ange isn't willing to adapt or change, and particularly not do the work, I'm a bit concerned at some of the things that thanks Julie, that that you're hearing, that he's not working on these things in training, that his coaching team looks weak, and he's not one of these coaches that brings a team with him. Having said that, the one coach I gather at Celtic he had was John Kennedy, who was ex-Celtic centre-half, ex-Scotland centre-half, really, really good quality defender whose career was really sadly cut short by an awful injury. I think it was Ganea playing for Portugal. It may have been a European game anyway, who absolutely killed his knees. He was one I think he wanted. These are things where you get the impression that Ange is stubborn. And if he's not willing to change, and we're in this position, I'm not even going to argue that. But, if he's not prepared to adapt, he will die, because teams will find him out. I know people say, he's not good enough because he's won in Japan, he's won in Australia, he's won in Scotland. This is a different level, and the coaches are better, the players are better. But if he's stubborn and he won't change, then we will be in trouble. That said, I expect us to be spending a significant amount of money this summer. I know there was a comment there about stadium being a game changer. I think we're at the point now where Levy knows he has to bring in the right players. One of the problems with a number of the players is that we are losing the ball far too easily, and the biggest culprit on Sunday was Maddison, the one player that's not expected to be giving the ball away cheaply. And with the way we play, and with the high lines, etc., if you give the ball away as cheaply as easily as we do, you will get caught, and you will get caught by players with the quality and the pace of Saka. So I think you'll be bringing in players that aren't going to give the ball away as cheaply. And then, of course, if you don't give the ball away cheaply, there is no transition to worry about. But,
absolutely.
I'm not entirely convinced as well we shouldn't be playing 3-4-3, because I think if we had an extra defender there, as well as the holding midfield player, we wouldn't be as
exposed.
We wouldn't be as exposed as often as we are. Dragusin in a Romero 6. Well, I mean the way I would play it would be Dragusin and Romero, as well as Van der Ven, and then one of whoever would be the holding player, probably I don't know, probably Bentancur. But he won't play that way, and that's where the stubbornness comes in. He plays 4-3-3 and plays
all day, every day,
and plays 4-3-3. And if it doesn't work, he doesn't change it. And these are the things. If he's successful, it's fine. But if we're certainly at this time next year, if it's the same situation, there will be unease. But remember, the club was in one hell of a mess last year when Conte left and what have you. And I think if you'd say we were going to finish fifth, people would generally have accepted that. I think the fact is we started well and have fallen away is the biggest disappointment. But I remember we talked about Twitter and Everton and what have you. I remember people saying this time, in June, when Ange was appointed, the club's finished. We're in a relegation.
Where are the goals that Kane scored going to come from? We're going to score 33 less goals because Kane's gone.
Yeah. Well, and that's the point. I mean, people forget that. I don't think he'd be. What's the word? I'm not saying he wouldn't be upset or disappointed he lost Kane, because Kane is by any standards a world-class player. But I think when he said he came into the job knowing that Kane was likely to leave, I'll come back to that thing about talking beer, because the decision was correct.
Interesting.
But that's a hell of a thing to lose a player of Kane's quality. Your talisman, your team captain, anyway, in the absence of Lloris. And I think we've coped pretty well. But I expect there to be a massive transition in the squad. I've said this on a couple of streams, and I also expect there to be some casualties, big name casualties that people don't expect. I'm not going to name too many names. The thing about just going back to this offside, if the ball is deflected unintentionally, a player tries to play the ball but deflects it, then the original pass is what counts as offside. I don't like it as a law, but that's what the law says. So
the argument that I saw some people making, and I again don't know if this is at all changes anything. So what you're saying is that the first pass, before even it started bouncing off Arsenal players, it was already offside. All right, the offside had already occurred.
That's the point. It wasn't deliberately played by an Arsenal player. It was deflected by an Arsenal player. The fact that it was 2 and it was a bit like
ping pong.
What do they call it now?
Pinball.
Pinball is the word I'm looking for.
I'm the king of
doesn't change it. It's not a law I like. I mean, my gut is unless it's an instant deflection where 2 players go for the ball. In my view, if the defender plays the ball last, that should play him on. But they changed the law. I qualified as a referee in 1985, and the law, there was peripheral changes. There was a few in 1990, but in general, the laws didn't change much. And now all of a sudden they keep changing the law. They change the handball law. They change the offside law. They keep tinkering. And the reason they have to keep tinkering with the thing is they keep making a complete and utter mess of it. And that's one of the ones where, we want to see more goals. And it is, to me, it's ridiculous that the goal was disallowed. But from the initial shot, I can't remember who it was by now.
I don't even remember either, to be honest.
And at that point, Van der Ven was offside. I don't like it, but the decision was correct. The decision was correct. So I don't like it, but it was.
I disagree.
It's offside under the laws of the game.
I disagree entirely. I think he was onside. I think the way that the offside with VAR, the way it should be seen as. The referee should see it 3 times, once in real time and twice on a replay, 15 intervals. If it isn't clear and concise by the 3rd time, if it's offside or onside, it should just stay as onside. I'm getting sick and tired of teams, and not just us. Every team in the Premier League, they're getting screwed over by the sake of millimeters because a referee has to.
And those lines are just drawn in. I just hate the fact that they're not computerized. I wish that a computer would put them in.
It's not even just that. It's not even just that. It's the case of where do you measure the offside from? Because I've seen in so many instances, the offside will get measured from the top of the shoulder, then it'll be from the back foot. Where does it get measured from?
The butt sometimes.
I'm not actually arguing any of that. What I'm saying is
that particular
offside at this stage is meant to be a factual matter, and it's at any point of the body that can score a goal, which includes the bum, because it's not disallowed if it comes off the bum.
Ask Fernando Llorente, right?
Factually offside. I mean, I would want there to be clear daylight between. In other words, there has to be a gap for it to be offside between the defender and the furthermost attacker. In other words, his whole body must be clear of the defender. I mean, if you're going to have offside. But all I'm saying is that under the laws of the game as they stand, the decision was correct. I don't like the law any at all, but it is what it is.
Real quick, just wanted to say what's up to Soren. Thanks for jumping in, dude. You're in the man cave, the man cave that I'm so jealous of. Hope you had a good day today working, brother, and it's very nice to have you join us, my man. So we'd kind of been working our way around, and Chris, I would like to come to you, but I'm going to sort of change the question because I don't want to beat everything completely to death here. But we saw Davis a left back Sunday. Are you comfortable with him in that position going forward this season? Is that how you would continue to play things? We've got a couple of options. You know what I mean? We could put Van de Ven over there and have, we could have Dragerson in the center back pairing. We could go to a back three and play all three of them, in the back. I don't know, just seeing what you prefer, what you thought of him in that match. If you thought he was as detrimental as some people predicted he would be.
No. I didn't think he had a bad game from what I remember. I think that he's the best. I mean, you could put Emerson there, but then he'd be playing off his best foot. But then for players like Saka who come off and play on their, they cut in and obviously he's finishing on his left foot. Maybe a right-footed player would counter that foot. It probably would have been a better option, but the manager knows because he sees it in training day in, day out. And at the end of the day, he's the man that has to see it, along with his assistants and the rest of the coaching staff. They're the ones that see who's better fit, who's up to scratch to play. And obviously, you've got Ben Davis, who is a loyal team player who, as far as we know, never moans. He comes on, he does the job, he's always up for it, and why not? He's a decent defender. Did he get skinned like everybody was saying? No. Was he a tad late to
adjusting to that,
hit the ball and finish? Yeah, he was, because I watched it back. He was a tad late, but that happens to the best of defenders. That happens to it's you just can't do it sometimes. You can't do everything. So I mean, we're expecting excellence from our players, and that's just called entitlement. We're not the best team. We've got holes everywhere. We're a sinking ship, but a man's come in to try and do the job, to try and plug the holes, and we're far better off than we were last season. I'm sorry, but we are. And we've gone from, doom and gloom, as someone said in the comments before, and now we're attacking. We've got problems, we're trying to solve them. But going back to Davis, I would stick with Davis. If Emerson is not up to par and they don't see he's up to par to play down, as left back, I would stick with Davis because he's our best option, of course, because he's a decent defender. He's not a bad defender. He's,
exactly, and there are no massive holes in his game. I feel like while he's not excellent at really anything, there aren't any massive holes in his game either. I guess you could say his pace would be his biggest flaw, but still, you're right. I would keep him there. That was not a loaded question. I just wanted you to have the same answer as me.
Yeah, pace can be made up by experience and by knowing where you have to be at any one time. So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Vertonghen wasn't a speed merchant, but his positioning. If you have either elite pace or elite positioning, you can be an elite defender. You don't have to have both. Not saying that Ben Davis is elite in either category, just pointing that out, in my opinion. But people, a lot of nice talking, arguing. Soren, you've actually seen some reports that the dressing room has been lost. I saw you put that comment in there.
We were having a chat after the match in one of the WhatsApp groups, and people just going off and saying that the players aren't playing for him anymore. They don't believe in him and things like that. And Anjao, and you just think, bloody hell, it's his first season. He's had 2 windows where he's got some players in that he wants. And isn't it about time that we just gave one of our managers a chance? Everybody shouts that we'll leave, you don't back your manager. Well, how can he back him if he doesn't give him time to do it? This is the problem, that if we're gonna jump on him now, well, we shouldn't have taken him on in the first place. Give him a 4-year contract and expect him to do a job. He's said all along, his first season, he expects to be called to be out of a job and all this lot. Let's see what he does next year. Let's give the man a chance. Let's hopefully Levy will back him with some players in the summer. If he gets the players he wants and he goes on, then I don't see what the problem is. If Levy believes in him, he'll back him. If the fans are already turning on him, then why should Levy back him? And then yeah, we're going to see him lose his job because he's not going to get the players he wants. It's about time, not only Levy, but the fan base as well, actually unite behind one of our managers. I mean, I didn't want him in the first place.
I remember that. Yeah,
I didn't know him. I didn't, I wanted Nagelsmann. I've said for a long, long time we should get that guy in as a manager, but we didn't. We've got Big Ange. Now's the time to back him. This is the beginning of the season. How many people on here expected us to finish top 4? There weren't many people expecting a top 4 finish. Everybody's doom and gloom. We're going to get relegated. We're going to finish in the bottom half. We've lost Kane. We're not going to be able to score a goal. Oh, suddenly we're 4th and 5th. Still a chance of getting top 4. Oh, we want the manager out. What's the point? What's the point?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I agree with this.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, some of the things that we're seeing, he does need to improve and he does need to change his philosophy sometimes. But
he's not infallible for sure. He can make mistakes. He does make mistakes.
But the other side to it is, what's to say that he's not just saying, right, we are not changing our style to make sure these players actually understand what it is to play this style. And if we lose, it's not the end of the world for them because, this is the style he wants to see. Now, we look at it and say, we've got to improve our defending at set pieces, but hopefully that will come. It just seems to be getting a little bit worse, but, it's... The Højbjerg goal, to me, should have been a foul because he was being pushed at the same time as he went to head it. The second goal, how I'm sure it was Ben White, just backed into Vicario. How is this not a foul? How is it not a foul?
I agree.
He was trying to undo his gut. He was trying to undo his gut.
Yeah, but
really?
He tried to undo his gut and then he actually backed into him to push him over the line. How is that not a foul on the goalkeeper?
It was right before play started, I guess, apparently, is what.
Yeah, but it's obstruction. If Vicario did that to one of their players, it would be a penalty.
What the foul is there? So what the foul is there? If you go back and watch the footage, there is an angle that shows it. Ben White is trying to unstrap Vicario's glove.
Yeah, but that's not foul, though, is it? I mean, that's just
the actual backing in. The actual backing into the keeper, right, is not a foul. It's only if you impede the keeper from saving or from moving or from that. But the actual backing in and touching and then moving away, because he actually moved away before the header was connected, right? The ball connected with the header. That is not a foul because he's not impeding the keeper to do his job.
He is impeding him because he's pushed him out of his position behind the line.
It's not. But I understand the glove. The gloves part I didn't know about, but it's not a foul if you're just touching the keeper because you're not impeding him to do it. Because the ball was not headed before. The ball was headed after.
It wasn't a touch. He physically barged him backwards, which
I understand what you're saying, but it's not a foul.
If that was two defenders and the ball came to him, it would be a penalty.
I understand what you're saying, but it's not a foul because he's not impeding him to do his job.
Yeah, but it should be. That's the thing,
But it's not. I know what you're saying, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one that will say. I always say goalkeepers are overprotected a lot of the time, but when if he turns around and pushes that guy to the floor, it's a penalty.
Exactly. It's. I feel like it's overcorrected itself a bit. The
Cole,
goalkeepers
I don't know if you can, Cole. I've sent you a link on WhatsApp to the footage. There's I've put out. If you go back and watch it, Ben White, he grabs Vicario's gloves. He grabs Vicario, trying to undo the trap.
I mean, even if he does or he doesn't, he's got into his head. And that's just shithousery, isn't it? That's problem.
Another issue. But there's a myth out there that keepers can't be touched in a 6-yard box. Keepers can be touched in a 6-yard box.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And that's the difference.
There's a difference though between being touched and physically him bent over, not even looking at the ball, and literally pushing him backwards over the goal line. Well, I mean, the biggest problem with that to me, Vicario should go down and stay down because then it would be highlighted as a foul. I bet you any money. Because
it's the same as the Kulu situation. There was contact with Kulu. If Kulu had gone down, he would have been given a penalty.
I hate that. I think
the fact he stayed up was why it wasn't given a penalty. It's the same with Vicario. If Vicario had gone down like a sack of shit, then it would have been given as a.
Can I ask a question?
Oh.
But that's the thing, you see. Sorry, Cole. Just before you ask the question, I do apologise for interrupting. I think that even before all of this happens, the fact that Ben White is freely doing what he wants without actually having a player on him is actually worse than the rest of what happens after, because he's actually doing what the hell he wants in the 6-yard box. That to me is worse than the gloves, than the pushing, than whatever.
Yeah.
He should have someone on him.
Colin, I think your mum says in the chat that we need to be giving Vicario more protection. I mean, that's one thing as well. We don't have much height, and we don't appear to have a lot of guts. Bending these set pieces.
We put James Madison, I saw one time, on Vicario to protect him. I'm like, really? Out of all players,
the problem we've got right now, and I'll call it out now, right? It isn't Ange. It isn't Ryan Mason. The problem that we have with the club and the coaching staff at the moment is Miles Jedinak. Miles Jedinak is the one coaching the defensive set pieces, and we are conceding more and more goals from set pieces every single year, right? That's 2 goals from 2 corners. What the hell is Miles Jedinak coaching these players? What is it he's setting us up for? Because as I said, the set pieces have been absolutely woeful this season. There needs to be a change, and he needs to go.
Yeah, but the problem is the zonal defending. I mean, if you watch, I mean, it was quite laughable because you just saw it every corner. You've got 5 or 6 Spurs players stood in the box, and all the Arsenal players are at the back, and then they all just run forward, and the Tottenham players are looking. It's like, where, what am I doing? Because there's nobody about them. I mean, you can blame Jedinak, but it's simple. If it happens to you once, it shouldn't happen again in the same match. And if it happens again, it shouldn't happen a third time. It's down to the players as much as it is coaching staff, because as a professional player on that pitch, if you see something that's you're not in control of, then you should have the balls to do something different. The problem with that is we don't have a bloody proper leader on the pitch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
I don't think Romero is got the facilities to be a leader of that team. James Maddison at the moment is injury prone. He's not at the best of his ability.
I think he's injured. right now.
Yeah,
as we speak.
Do you know what? I don't think we're going to get a better version of James Maddison. I don't think we're going to get the same version of him again. In all
You
honesty.
think that was a purple patch? Hold on, Ash hasn't said much either. Ash, what do you think? Do you think James Madison was at a purple patch at the beginning of the season, or do you think he'll get back to that form?
No, Madison's a quality player, but just to go back on some of your points, I remember last season, we as fans were screaming at Conte for not adapting. Conte's stubborn. He doesn't change. So it's like almost like an echo, because Conte was known to play the 3-4-3. Funny enough, a lot of the fans are calling for a 3-4-3. Now, irony, you can't make this stuff up about the fan base. Like, you really can't. Like, we are super reactionary and we have very short memories. Now, when we're looking at Ange now, we're saying Ange 3-4-3 or a back 3-5-2 or whatever it is. We want 3 at the back, right? Now, the issue last season, everyone was like, we got a set piece specialist. That set piece specialist was an attacking set piece specialist.
Johnny Veal.
And the defensive coach, funny enough, was who? Stellini.
Yeah.
You can't make this up, because when Stellini was in charge, everyone was crying, we got Stellini, blah, blah, blah. Stellini tried to play a back 4. Yeah. He tried to play the 4-3-3, right? And appease the fans, because the fans were like, we want 4-3-3. We want 4-3-3. We went to Newcastle and we got mullered. Yeah, we got touched up like no other. Yeah. So it's so funny hearing the narratives at the moment. Now, the actual thing that Stanini looked at, he said we were actually doing man-to-man. Yeah. When Stanini was in charge, we were doing man-to-man. He saw that we struggled with man-to-man. We struggled with being man-to-man. So what he did is he went zonal. How ironic is that, right? We were struggling with man-to-man, we went zonal. So now we went zonal, and then what he did, he decided, like, we'll do part zonal and we'll do part
Yeah, you
man
did
to
mix.
man.
You did mix.
We did a mix. We did a mixture. Right. Okay, cool. So deep this now. Conte said, and everybody hates Conte. Conte said the Premier League is different. It's not like other leagues. You need tall and physical players. I don't want no players underneath 6 foot for this reason. And when you look at Arsenal, how did they beat us? They've got physical players that are bigger than us and taller than us, and they were able to out jump us, and they all came in like a bus and a train. And the thing is, when you're Arsenal and you're defending against players that have the momentum and they've got the run on you, and you just have to stand on the spot and then jump, and you can't see what's behind you, and you're not goal side, then of course mistakes are going to happen. It happened against Man City with Ake. It happened against Everton with their centre back that we were linked with, and Man United are now linked with, the English guy. And it's happened, Brandwith, and it's happened again with Arsenal, where they got Tamiyasu, they got Saliba, they got Partey. They've every single player either a height, they're taller than us, man for man, either taller if you match them up, or they're physically heavier, stronger, bigger. Do you know what I'm saying? Even Van der Ven, one of our biggest players, one of our most strongest players,
looks small compared to their guys.
Against the Saliba's heavier than him. He's bigger than him. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's a little bit taller. So it's mad. Man for man, we are no match. Like you just said, Maddison. Why did we just stop putting a player on the goalkeeper? I don't know. Maybe we forgot because we haven't had a few set pieces. Remember the goal that Kulusevski conceded? The goal that Kulusevski conceded was on Shaw that scored for Newcastle. He got the run on him. He was doing man to man. Imagine. And Shaw still lost him, still bet run, and still scored. You understand? So it's deeper than what you think. Like, and this is why Andrew was like, listen, yes, we do have issues, set pieces. Yes, I acknowledge that. But there's other things that I need to fix, bro.
More pressing problems than that.
Exactly. There's more leaks in the roof that you guys can't see right now. Obviously, we're fans, reactionary. We see the same patterns. Oh my days, we need this, we need that. Yeah, we do. We need a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? And I, for one, will critique Ange because I do think you have to look what you have on your bench. You have to look at your squad. You have to look at your opponent. And if Dragusin has played in the back three, and if Romero has played in the back three before at Atalanta, and he was in the center of the back three at Atalanta, and he sometimes, was flexible, could play in the 6 at times and swap back into center back. And then you've got Dragusin, that's not only just good in the air, he's actually physical, got the height, but can play like a right back at times. We saw what we did when we put him as a left-sided centre back. He always wanted to cut onto his right. Why did we try to shoehorn him in on the left side centre back? Just play your players in their right position, and you'll be surprised on how well we were playing, how much we were. Like, if you look at the goal leading up to the actual corner, we were pressed severely, and that's what made the mistake from Vicario. Romero plays it to Vicario. Vicario plays a heavy pass into Van der Ven. Van der Ven then plays a blind pass, if you guys remember, blind pass. Then Ben Davies doesn't have the lateral movement, loses balance, and falls in his face, right? If your doggy was there, that's not happening. But basically, we don't quite yet have the minerals in every particular position. We need that next window to replace a Ben Davies, that's someone that has a bit more athleticism, that even if the ball's a little bit off, he can quickly change direction. And even if Van der Ven just misplaces that pass, he can get it, and then we beat the press. But what happens is that pass, now it lands to an Arsenal player. They're on the front foot. They're in our final third. They're in our box. All of a sudden, Romero has to save the day. He makes a challenge, and then it happens, and that's a corner. From that corner, then now we got caught like deer in headlights. As I said before, you've got Højbjerg. He's not on goal side. He's not goal side. Why is he not goal side? Do you know what I mean? Why is he flat-footed? So he can't see the players coming in behind him. All of a sudden, he feels Tomiyasu on his shoulder. He panics. He's on the wrong side of him. Oh, shit. What am I going to do? And then all of a sudden, he shuts his eyes. Of course, if you shut your eyes, you can't see where you're heading the ball. It's these little fine details. I'm not saying Højbjerg's not brave enough, but these little details here, if you're going to shut your eyes and you're going to head of the ball, of course, you don't know where it's going. Do you know what I'm saying? That's happened now. Boom. 1-0. Oh my days. We're on the back foot all of a sudden. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So there's so much, and I haven't even like there's so much I haven't even touched on. I'll let you guys talk about it because I've been.
Oh no,
forever.
this is good. This is good
I
shit.
just want to mention something you said about Conte playing a back five versus Ange playing a back five, and we have to remember as well, under Ange, we've got significantly better players in that squad to play a back five. Under Conte, we had Eric Dyer. Right,
He's tearing it up in the Bundesliga.
That's
right
not the
now.
point. That's not the point.
Why is it not the point, bro? Why
The point is for us.
He's only a pound player now.
Before Eric Dyer was in charge, bro, he was balling out. No one was complaining about Eric Dyer then.
Man of the match.
Everyone forgets. This is what I'm saying, bro.
No,
It's-
He was often, but he was often poor. He was poor
I'm not
more
fan
often
of Eric
than
Dyer.
not. He was
I'm not-
poor
I'm
more
not-
often than not. The fact of the matter is, we've got Romero, we've got Van der Ven, we've got Dragusin.
So play them.
They-
Play
they-
that.
exactly. Play the back three with those in that position.
That's what I said. We got the players for that. We should be playing it. But like Conte, he was on his philosophy. Like a lot of these managers, they're like, this is the way I play. No matter what, we're going to get piped a couple of times. He told us. It's not like he didn't tell us because he wants to embed the philosophy first and then do tactical work later on. But he needs the players and he needs to see who's right for the system. And we need this pain first before we move forward. We're going to get slapped. He told us. He said, "Raw, we're going to get slapped." Do you know what I'm saying? But if you lot are patient enough, you will see what I'm trying to
We will
implement.
reap the
Because
benefits here.
we can't run before we walk, is what he's saying. He said, "Raw, we need to have a bit of patience. The board needs to believe in it, and the players need to believe in it if we are going to move forward, and the fans need to believe in it as well." Like I'm with you guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm with. Go on.
The
Sorry.
big thing, though, if we're talking about Conte and Ange systems now and then, which football would you rather watch? We're in a similar position under.
I would much rather watch Ange's style of football. I would much rather watch Ange's style.
Exactly.
Whoa, you're missing me. You're missing me.
No,
the
but
biggest,
no, I
the
don't
biggest
think what
problem,
you're saying,
the
Yeah,
biggest
but no.
problem with Ange.
No,
The biggest
I know
problem with-
what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, though, for all those people that are calling for Ange out now, I'd rather watch the football we're seeing now where I know some games were not 10, but the football was crap under Conte.
The point
So
I was
if
making.
there is some
Listen
problem,
to the point.
we'll put
I've
up with it.
completely got. Look, the point I was making is Conte was an elite manager. He was a winner, right?
I know
And now
what
the
you're
point
saying,
with,
yeah.
and I understand that the attacking football, that's what we want to see. We want to see us on the front foot going at, your Arsenals, your Chelseas, your Liverpools, your Uniteds, all those teams that, we're in the mix with. We don't want to sit back and do Conte ball. I get it. The point I was trying to make and articulate was with Conte, he is an elite winner. But now people are throwing the mud at Ange because he's only done it in Scotland, he's done it in Japan, this is the Premier League, mate, blah blah blah. But when it came to Conte, do you see what I'm trying to say? An elite man, and he said, "Look, I'm sticking to my philosophy." That they couldn't throw that same, narrative at him. So what I'm saying is, a lot of managers have their ways. Even Klopp, when he first came, I think Ian said it at the start of the pod. He was saying, "Look, he has his philosophy." And he's trying to embed that into the players. He finished 8th. But you know what? Once he gets the right players in, and once the players that are here that he wants to keep understands that, then it will start to, fruit. It will start to bear fruit, if that makes sense. So I'm not talking about Conte ball that I want that back. No, I'm not saying that.
The difference is, Conte.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to say, that I got what you were saying, but what, where I wanted to come in just was to say, for all those people out there that are saying we need to get rid of Ange now because he won't change his philosophy, he won't change this, he won't change that.
Yeah.
But the football, doesn't matter if the football hasn't been great, it's still been better than what we watched last year. That's what I was trying to say, that, the philosophy where Ange is telling us is not changing the way he plays. It's still, the way he plays is still far better than what the shit was last year.
The thing about Ange, right? Yes, he plays attractive football. Fantastic. We're actually entertained for once. The crowd seems to be really behind it. The problem I've got with Ange, and this is where he's completely different to Conte, is that there doesn't seem to be these changes that could really make a massive effect. Like even the smallest things, like uninverted wing backs. If the inverted wing backs aren't working, swap them out again. Times where they're not inverted. Little things like that. Ange is not doing. the things that Conte did when things weren't going his way, Ange's not doing. That's the problem. There doesn't seem to be a plan B. I'm all for installing a philosophy and sticking to your guns, being stubborn about it, and say, look, if you want to play for my team, this is how you play. But something has got to give. When you're playing against the likes of Newcastle, you're playing against the likes of Arsenal, where these things will not work. You need to try and change these things up a bit. If you're not changing them, you're going to get trouble.
I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. I don't think anyone's disagreeing
I'm
with
sure,
that. We're all agreeing with that.
Yeah, I'm sure that, for what it's worth, I'm sure that he's relishing, and he's enjoying his Premier League experience, and I think that he's got a lot of future here at Spurs, and I don't think that he would just, gamble being stubborn. And obviously Ian said that, and he's got a lot more knowledge than I have about Ange. But just to gamble everything on just being a stubborn 58-year-old and not change, I think that he will change, and I think that he will change with the right players. He's just playing what he has. But at the end of the day, the fact that what we saw on Sunday, the mentality is there: attack. But sometimes, or most of the time, it is down to the players. Because if you can't go forward, and if you've got Maddison trying to dribble around 5, get past 5, Kulusevski trying to get round 5, if that doesn't work, what you've got to do is start over again, right? And that wasn't happening as far as I could see, because it was dribble around 5, we lost the ball, sod it. And what Ian was saying is, if you have the ball, there is no transition, right? And what we have is a problem with transitions, because all of the balls that are going over the top, all of the balls that are going to our weak spots, which is down the flanks, right, comes from transition.
The goal from open play we conceded was a transitional error.
But that's what I'm saying. Now, fundamentally, what he does, right, leaving the flanks open, is the best way to not concede goals. Because if you go down the centre, the risk of conceding goals is far greater than down the flanks, because it is the furthest point away from the goal. So fundamentally, that's correct to leave the flanks open, right? The fact of the matter is, we're conceding too many. And I've done the stats on this. I've got a whole Excel spreadsheet on this. We score more goals down the centre than we do on the flanks, right? Or it's very similar at least. But we do lose so many balls because the players are too entrenched in going forward and doing what he's saying, but there's no intelligence about it. If you lose, if you just want to go full pelt, that doesn't work. Because do you know what I mean? And I'm just trying to. I'm not as eloquent as Ash, and Ash said it brilliantly. And I wish I could translate this and give it to Ash, and Ash say it for me. I wish that, because I've got it all up here, and because I speak Spanish and English at the same time, it's more complicated for me. I don't know what I want to say. I just can't say it. But it goes a bit of what Ian was saying. If you have the ball, you can't transition. There's no transition for the other team, and that is where it's our detriment. And with more intelligent players that can, you know what I mean? Recycle the ball instead of losing the ball. Yeah. That would be our benefit and not detriment.
Comments like that really piss me off, right? If you're going to start calling out people, call out Sonny as well, because Sonny hasn't been great either. Yeah. Right? Call out Richarlison. He hasn't been great either.
I think it's everyone, Josh, really. It's a team effort, really.
Hold on. Ian's been trying to go for a minute.
People will call out the easy targets. They will call out the likes of Werner. They will call out the likes of Brennan Johnson, because they come under so much scrutiny for other things that they are so.
You're not taking a risk. You're not taking a risk in
Colin, can I just come in there, because I think what Chris says is really important. Defending end-to-end football is actually fine. You watch that game on Sunday, when it was just we had the ball, they had the ball, the kind of normal things you get are not a problem. The goals we lose are when we get overexposed up front and get caught in a quick transition and set pieces. The rest of the normal football, we defend perfectly well. they're not for me. They're not difficult fixes. I mean, I don't know if any of you are qualified coaches. I'm not, but to me, they're not
Only
difficult
Chris in this
fixes.
group, I think, unless I'm wrong. But Chris is.
But I think Ange does keep talking about we're not doing the things I want. And I think there'll be major. I think Son may go. I think Richarlison may go. I think Kulusevski even may go. I think he'll bring in the players he wants to play the kind of football that he wants and the ball retention he wants. And I go back to my point earlier. If you don't lose possession of the ball, you can't get done in transition. A lot of work still to be done. But
I've said this before, Ian, and I'll say it again, right? I would not be against Son leaving the club this summer.
no.
Yeah, Jose
I
said that much too.
Do you honestly think they're going to get rid of Son after making him the captain?
I don't think they will.
Unless it's his own
That's the
decision.
most annoying thing. That's the most annoying thing. He's been made captain. He's the poster boy for the club because he draws in so much.
Yeah,
he draws
yeah.
so much traffic.
it's
That's
true.
That's simply the only reason he's been made captain is because he draws so much traffic into
But
that.
I don't think he'll go. Unless it's his own decision, he will not leave this club. He won't. I mean,
Can you go back to that previous comment that look, you don't have to be De Bruyne.
No.
You don't have to be De Bruyne. All you have to do is delay attack when you haven't got an option. Okay, you just have to delay attack, right? And in defence, you have to delay defence when you haven't got your teammates around. It's that simple. Football is simpler than what it seems. You don't have to be De Bruyne. You do not. You just have to recycle when you haven't got that attacking option.
Do you not think, though, part of the problem is
that is it? You know?
Do you not think part of the problem is, though, that we only attack in one way, and that's to kind of find that perfect goal? It's very rare that we'll put a long ball out and just change things up every now and again, even if it's once a match.
Yes, but I think I've said. I mean, I don't know how I've said it too.
I expect it to change.
It's a good point that you make, but the fact of the matter is, if you, for example, and I don't fault Kulusevski for his bravery and his fight and the energy that he puts out on the pitch, but if you're not going to the byline and you're not crossing, right, that is one thing. But another thing is that we don't have an out-and-out striker like a Harry Kane, like a Lewandowski, like someone that can put it in the back of the net, header it or rough up the defenders, give them problems. We don't have that. So what are crosses? What are aerial crosses? There's no point because we don't have that. They're all grounded crosses. They're all cutbacks because that is the set of players we have. Right? You get in a Vlahovic, you get in a Lewandowski, you get in that kind of player.
Agreed.
Then the aerial cross will come in because that's another output. That's another option you see.
We tried a couple of those, but it came into nobody because we had no one with height.
But Rich is good with his head. That's his strongest point.
But for some reason,
he's not playing as often as he should. But then that's another debate: who should play, who should not.
But then when he does play, we don't put the crosses in for him to head. That's the problem.
Because probably
it was weird. It was weird. The crosses
did cross it with his right foot.
The crosses did stop in the second half. That is funny. But I didn't.
Did you notice? Was it against Newcastle or was it the match before Newcastle where we actually had 5 or 6 shots from outside the box, and then that suddenly created a little bit of room because the defence moved out towards us. Well, we haven't seen that again since. Nobody's taking shots again from outside the box.
That's a huge
it's
problem.
Almost
That's
like
I harp on and on about that. Yeah,
but I mean, I'm sure that the Ange is not saying, "Hey guys, don't shoot from outside the box." What I want is for you to go get out wide, cut the ball back because that's what I want because that's what I did at Parkhead for 2.5 years. I'm sure that he doesn't say that. That at the end of the day is on the player.
But you say that though, we've got. I mean, Maddison used to do a lot of shots from outside the box. Kulu does, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
Sonny used to always be
Sonny was always.
Some
things changed.
That for me is mental block.
Yeah, but not for every player.
I wanted to ask Ian real quick about this comment. He says, "This is Postecoglou wingers are creatively tremendous." Can you say to Werner and Brennan, "Oh, look, they're creative demons"? But anyway, it was just a part about him having creative wingers usually, and I don't know anything about him at Celtic, so I can't say that that's.
Well, I mean, in Maeda and Jota, he really did have. He had pace and skill and what have you. I think he's I think he'll be disappointed with not just with the wing play he's got. Although, funnily enough, Werner's the one that gets round the back of defenders and does exactly. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think Werner is the player that's doing what he wants. I think the problem isn't really the wingers, because Johnson's, started. He didn't do particularly well on Sunday, but I think he's showing the kind of quality that he's got. Is the ball is the creativity. The ball is not coming through anywhere near quickly enough from the midfield. So
I can't get behind this comment underneath either.
No,
Ange
it
isn't
doesn't
telling
make
me
sense.
anything.
I can't get anyone that sits there and criticises Ange, to be honest with you. Right? This is my take on it all. Okay, by all means, be frustrated. By all means, be angry with how we're playing. That's absolutely fine. Right? But these are the same people that are calling for Ange's head. Not even a year into his tenure. Right? If we've been saying for years, we need a project. We need a 3-4 year project. Yeah. We need a rebuild. Right? If you sack Ange 1 year into bear in mind, this is a club, by the way, whose average turnover is between 18 and 24 months when it comes to managers. Yeah. Right? If you sack Ange a year into his deal, we go back to the start again, and it's a rinse and repeat process. We don't get that project we've been shouting out for. He's had two windows. Let's not forget that.
I could pull up the stats.
How can this be true?
I think
Ange doesn't do the basics.
Ange is off their trolleys.
Oh, come on.
He's seriously off their trolleys.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure, and Ash, I keep feeling like with this big of a panel, I have to make sure I get everybody involved. But I mean,
of course.
No way that Ange isn't doing the basics. No way that, I mean, it's a transitional season. I don't know how anyone can see how going from such a stark change from the system that Conte and Mourinho, to a certain extent, they had a similar-ish style and philosophy. And so transitioning from one to the other wasn't that hard. It was soak up some pressure, hit them on the counter. We've changed completely. That's going to take time. I think it's only natural that maybe even if you focus on one or two aspects of this change at a time, which is maybe why we're not seeing a whole lot of change during matches of alternate, attack patterns, alternate ways of lining up, because we're just trying to drill in those one or two things we can to get a foundation on this rebuild. I don't want to compare ourselves to the people up the road, but you remember, I feel bad even putting this up. You remember what they were saying about this fella, and now look at where they are. So
2 years ago, they were calling for him to be sacked.
Absolutely. Before you came on, Josh, he's been there 5 years now, and it's only now that he's mounting a proper challenge. 5 years.
It's taken 3 years for them to be serious contenders.
Absolutely.
His first season was bad. His first season, 38 played, 118, draw 7, lost 13.
Colin, his first season, right? He finished, what was it, 8th? Right? Yeah. They've only recently celebrated getting 8 wins back to back. Ange did that in 12 games in his first season. Right? Yeah. If you give Ange the same amount of time as Arsenal have given Arteta, you will see a change. Right? The problem we've got is this fan base. They are so impatient. Right? If you want a rebuild, trust in the process. Let the rebuild happen. Stop calling for the manager's head month in, month out, because a couple of results don't go our way. It's not going to be beautiful. It's not going to be pretty. We are going to have moments.
It's actually kind of a dangerous thing to do. We got a trigger happy chairman who will fire managers.
We saw the power of what the fans can do when Nuno was sacked. Granted, he wasn't the best manager, right? But we saw the power of the fans.
I feel like Ben Kaufman's, don't be ageist, Ben.
Bollocks, Ben.
Yeah, this isn't his last job in football at all. I
think it's the next one that Ben's put out that is confusing, because it's Ben. Big love to you, man, and hope you're doing well.
I love you a lot.
But listen, he isn't doing the basics. We lose the ball cheaply. Ange, as you said before, is 58, but he's not on the pitch. He's not the one that loses it cheaply. Okay, the players. Okay, at the end of the day, whether they are quality players, but for some reason that I'm not privy to, that I'm sure most people aren't privy to, are not doing the basics, as you say. It's not Ange that isn't doing the basics. It's the players that, for some unknown reason, are losing the ball, that are trying too hard, that are not playing for him. As I think, was it Soren that there was some kind of rumors that he's lost the dressing room and they're not playing. All of this rubbish, right? They are privy to what they're privy to, and they know why they're doing. But the fact that we lose the ball cheaply is on the players, is not on Ange. Okay, they have to correct that, and they have to decide whether to retain, whether to delay, whether to attack, whether to come back, whether to recycle. We didn't see that on Sunday. I've said that before. Okay, I think that's quite apparent, and that has to be worked on. Is it an easy fix, like Ian was saying yesterday? It's not a difficult fix. It just needs time. And if the players don't do that now because of X, Y, Z reasons, you have to get new ones in. And that is basically how a football club works. If it doesn't work, you get new ones in that can do that. But he's not the one that's on the pitch. He's like,
to be fair, guys, I don't know if I can say a point quick.
sure, yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's cool, man. And like all of you have had your points. I've listened to them, and they're all valid points. Big up Ben Kaufman in the comments, and Andreas Steven. Sorry, I can't say it. I can't pronounce the surname properly, but
is it not Scott under another name?
I don't know, but yeah, Scott. Yeah, big up everyone, because everyone's opinions is valid. Fans are frustrated, so I do get the frustration. Also, guys, please like and subscribe to this fabulous channel. Big up the panel. Cole.
Just quickly, Ash, before you go on, right? You said that you understand the fans are frustrated. Does that warrant calling Ange out?
No. I don't think it does. I just said, like, if you're gonna give this same energy to Ange, you need to give the same energy to Aston Villa's manager, Unai Emery, who's had a longer build than Ange has had, because he's conceded the same amount of goals as Tottenham. Exactly. That's what I'm going to say. You know what I mean? So these narratives, sometimes we live in a pond or a vacuum, a fishbowl, where we only look at our team, but we don't look at other teams that are around us. How much are they conceding? And I do get it that it is frustrating that we are conceding the same goals, we're making the same mistakes. But I'm glad, because you know what? I'm glad that we're making the mistakes right now in this season and not next season. I'm hoping that we address it right now, like in the summer. We're like, look, defensively, we need to sort something out. Do you know what I'm saying? We need to be better in the transition when we lose the ball in transitional phases as well. I saw a thing where people criticizing Basuma because Basuma, they're like, he's not a 6. He's not positioning in the right place. Basuma didn't start on Sunday and Højbjerg did. Now, I saw Højbjerg make the same mistake that Basuma did. And basically, when teams are in their own box, what they try to do is they look to play out quickly. Now, what Højbjerg's got to do is he's got to get on his man as quickly as possible so he stops them playing out, and then the next man goes long into Saka. So what happened was the ball broke into Saka. So Saka picks the ball up. Now, Højbjerg's meant to close him down and stop that transition from happening. He's too far away. He now gets the ball into Havertz. Havertz picks the ball up and he's able to switch that ball back over to Saka. You know what I'm saying? He's patient enough to wait for Saka to run. Now, Højbjerg really should be, trying to keep up with him because he was the closest man to him. He's now passed that responsibility onto Ben Davies. Ben Davies, if he was a little bit smart, could have slowed his run down and he would have caught Saka offside. He didn't. And however, Saka got the best of him. But these things that these players, they need to learn because they're not used to playing the high line. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not used to playing this type of,
Basically, what you're saying is that the compression of that instance in the game did not work. Technically, that's what it means. The compression did not work because the players
high up.
weren't able
You have
to
to
do
win the ball high up to stop the transition. And that's what these players need to learn. That's all.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And if they
Guys,
can't
our
learn
boy Soren's got to head out. So I just wanted to say, big up, Soren. Thank you so much for tuning in, dude. Or not tuning in, but taking part, jumping in. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, just the last word. Can't wait for Thursday. We're going to smash them. We're going to smash them. Come on, you Spurs.
Yes, thanks,
Sorry.
man.
See you later.
Take care, man.
Big up, dude. Thank you so much. He's a good one. Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off there, Ash. I just wanted to give him a proper
sorry.
goodbye.
Yeah, no, big up Sora, man. Big up yourself, bro. Yeah, no. Like it is true. Like we have conceded. We are on course to concede more goals or the same amount of goals as last season with a better defense. But again, the players need to learn. It's not just the centre backs, and we do have better centre backs. It's the midfielders need to learn and the fullbacks, because if you check it, Spurs have either the first or the second highest turnovers, meaning we're winning that ball high up the pitch. That is our tactic. That's our style. But we're not learning how to defend on the transition. That's something we need to learn how to do. When the ball is on that, hits on the wings, we need to learn how to deal with that delay to allow someone else to help defend and double up on players. Do you know what I'm saying? We haven't quite figured that bit out, and that's why we're conceding so many goals. And it doesn't help that like Mickey van der Ven's been out for such a long time. Romero's had suspensions. Now you've got your doggy out. Your doggy's been out numerous amount of times. He hasn't been defensively sound as well. He's made a lot of mistakes. A lot of the mistakes and goals have come from your doggy, even though he's been exceptional in terms of like attacking and carrying the ball and dribbling and getting on a half turn and, trusting him in certain areas and scoring goals and assisting, blah, blah, blah. He still needs to work on that defensive side of things, as does Porro. People were saying, Porro, he's dead. He can't be a fullback, blah, blah, blah. He won't work in the system. Now everyone's saying, like, look how good Porro is. So in this transitional season,
Porro's going to be out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna see the system kind of like malfunction at times. You're gonna see a stutter at times, and so I just say, give us a little bit more time learning how to deal with those transitions. I'm not happy. It is worrying about the set pieces because it's happened more than once. Like it happened against City, as you said before. Then Everton picked up on it. Then I think it was Brentford were trying against us. They were trying to do like put a man on the keeper, etc. And it's happened like West Ham did it against us, and now it's happened again with Arsenal. So we do need to kind of like nip that one in the bud. That's something clear. But I'm glad this is happening now, and it's giving a message to the board as well, because I'm just saying, look, I want to go for the title, but does that mean we're gonna get the title? No. He's just saying, I'm sick and tired of this top four mentality. We need to get out of that. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with aiming for the moon and maybe getting the stars, or was it aiming for the stars and getting the moon? You know what I'm trying to say? There's nothing wrong with aiming higher than top four, because if you aim higher than top four, you're going to push up the table. So I do understand the analogy, what he means. And sometimes you need to decode what the manager's trying to get at, what he's trying to get into the players. And a lot of the players, they even come out. Madison came out and said, I want top four. He said, don't worry what the manager said. I want to be playing in Champions League. So that just shows me the players do have ambition and they are behind the manager. And sometimes they are going to make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? That's all. That's what it is. That's how I see it.
I fully agree. You make great points. It's a transitional season. I don't know what else to say other than the fact that if we don't let this build and we don't let something form here, we're in a lot of trouble. We restart. We maybe even go in a different direction, another style manager. It's just a shit show, and one I don't want to be a part of. Remember, we were the team that went the longest without a manager. We have a good one now. Let's just keep him here. Let's see what we can do. And then kind of speaking of the manager and everything, we've got a match coming up. 2 days, right? Today's Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 days from now, we play Chelsea. We've got a chance to right our wrongs. Before that, everybody, there is LTL Cockerell's link, but there's an extra little, I noticed a thingy in it. Let me put the in there. LTL Cockerell, that's Jose. Yeah.
While you amend, for want of a better word, can I just say the 5 goals that we scored against, conceded, Wolves, Gomez unmarked, West Ham, Zuma unchallenged, Kulu, the man-to-man that we were talking about before, Ash.
Chris, you're in charge for a second. I've used the restroom.
The own goal by Højbjerg the other day, and the second goal by Arsenal from the corner. Those are the 5 goals that we've conceded from corners. Set pieces is another thing, but corners 5 in 33 games. So it's not exactly that bad. The set piece, I think there's 14 in total. I think Ash, you might be onto that or not, but I think it's the rest would be 11 goals from set pieces.
16 goals from set pieces together.
Is that correct? 16. Yes. I thought it was 12 before Sunday, and with the 2 it was 14. But I could be wrong. You could be right. But 5 corners. Right, 5 corners of which one is an own goal. in 33 games, I don't think it's that bad. But, you know, I mean,
Like-
we're
like
talking about
I
Man
said-
City's, Arsenal's that conceded 2. Okay, yeah. Okay, because they got it drilled in. They got it honed in. But just a little point to make, you know, before Colin went on. But
like I said before, and I'll go back to the point. I think people are pointing their fingers in the wrong direction when it comes to set pieces. If you want to point your finger at anyone, point it at Miles Jedinak. Right? He is the guy that is coaching the defensive set pieces. He is not a set piece coach. He is an assistant coach. He is not trained specifically in one department. And he's come out and said that he doesn't feel comfortable hiring a dedicated set pieces coach. That is something that needs to change. And he needs to change.
But a lot of people have jumped on the Gianni Vio bandwagon, But as Ash said before, he's an attacking set piece, and he's drummed up almost 5,000. I think it's just over 4,800 attacking set pieces, right? Could he be valuable in a defensive situation? I'm sure he could, but he was predominantly the attacking set piece for Italy, for Catania, I think he was at Leeds at one point. He's currently at Watford. So, you know, hello, darling. so for people to get on the Gianni Vio bandwagon, we want Gianni back. He's not the defensive set piece tactician.
And I get maybe knowing that if you know the attacking part well enough, then obviously you'll know some of the defending because you're working against that on a regular basis. But I know what you're saying too. I'm just trying to devil's advocate a tiny bit.
I understand that. I understand that. But it's like saying, Forster, because he's a goalkeeper, because he's not playing. Well, then he could be the goalkeeping coach.
Train the strikers because he used to play against
coach.
them and he knows how to stop strikers. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's just, it doesn't make sense, right? But you get on the bandwagon, everybody start repeating it and multiplying it. No one does their research as to what actually Gianni Vio did for the club and does, because he used to be a banker apparently, as far as I can remember when he was at Spurs, but he was an attacking set piece. Specialist, not a defensive set piece specialist. So that's what I'm trying to say. You get on the bandwagon, you repeat everything and everyone's saying, I can see it on Twitter.
I mean, we all do you know what I mean? At times, I think. But yeah, I just wanted to ask Andres what excuses.
Andres, the excuses.
The one thing I will say, the one thing to be fair to Andres, the one thing I will say about Miles Jedinak is that I would prefer him to be on the ground. At the moment, he's in the stands. And he's looking from above and he's taking the details. I would prefer my defensive coach to be amongst the other coaches alongside Mason, etc. And maybe shouting out some instructions. I know we leave it to the players to figure it out. To figure it out. I'm just saying I prefer him on the ground, on the grass, as opposed to being in the sky with the fans. I know why he's there, because he's trying to give an aerial view and feed it back to Ange and say what's going on and what's wrong and what we can change. And then in training, they kind of do the tactical work, etc. But I prefer him in the match. I prefer in the match. I prefer in the match. I prefer, rather than being high up in the stands, I prefer him to be in the technical area with Ange, feeding back that way as well. Maybe someone else could be up in there, but I want Jedinak to be so I agree with Josh in that area where he can take some of the blame for that. Do you know what I'm saying? So just to balance it up a little bit.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, Jedinak is definitely not without blame. But real quick, always Jackin. I wanted to come back to your comment. Nice name, by the way, stellar name. Always Jackin says that Sir Alex brought European pedigree with him to United, having won the Cup Winners' Cup and the Super Cup with Aberdeen. And did a good job in the Champions League with Celtic. Yeah, he continued to play.
What Ange also did with Celtic in general is he brought glory back to Celtic. Let's not forget, before he was there, it was Rangers winning everything. Right? He's come in and done it back to back. It takes a special manager to do that. Right? Yeah. You've got to think about it. It doesn't matter what team you manage, right? The team you manage is only as good as the teams that they play. Let's not forget that. Whether it's the Premier League, the Championship, League One, League Two, Conference League, in the Conference, Scottish Premiership, League,
Australian Premier League. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. The team that you manage is just as good as the team around them.
exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie though. Let him lose against Chelsea, or if it's another bad result back to back with Liverpool, then the mood will change. Football fans are football fans, and I do give some credence to the whole set piece, same mistakes, getting caught on the counter attack. If we get caught in a counter attack by Chelsea, because we know how deadly they are, they've got a lot of pace in the teams. They got wingers.
Jackson.
Jackson, all right, fair enough. Jackson doesn't really, he's not clinical. All right, we're not worried about him, but
No, but he's
at the
pacey.
moment,
What we
saw
saw
what he
the
did
other day,
against
he was quite pacey.
yeah,
Yes, for days,
he's good
yeah.
at hold up. He's good at link up play. He's pacey. He can
Yeah.
dribble. It's just the finishing that he needs to work on. But again, I think with Poch, I think he's got Chelsea playing not too bad. Like he did well against Aston Villa. Aston Villa, they ended up throwing that game, and I felt Chelsea should have won that game. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can see this getting real. Like I can see people starting to lose their patience real quick, real fast, because football is literally black and white. It's not grey. And I know we try to paint it a different picture, like and say, look, give it context and whatnot. But they won't be the only fans saying Angel. I'm just keeping it real.
You're not wrong. And guys, we've been going for quite a long time today, an hour and a half. I haven't yet done so. I wanted to talk about the Chelsea match, but I could do that at another time. There are other streams. There's other times. But before we go, you guys, I've made a very quick. And I usually take a long time. I make people explain their answers. I want to do a keeper West Ham very fast, and I'll have you guys just go through and bam, bam, bam. Tell me who you keep, who you would send to West Ham, and who you keep on your bench. I want to play the intro. I've had to change the music so that I don't get copyright infringed anymore. So we will play. Oh wait, yeah. So we'll play the new one. Hopefully this is the new one. 1 second. This sucks.
I'll keep Ange, bench Poch, and sell Arteta. Oh,
There you
something like that.
Here we go though, guys. It's coming. Just 1 second. I had to get on the other laptop. It looks like it didn't upload all the way, the new video. I spent time on this morning, which is the only reason why I want to do it. And you're going to be like, what did you spend time doing? It doesn't seem like you did anything, but it's okay.
Whoa. What's going on?
No, nothing.
Echo.
I'm a pro. I'm a pro at this. Okay, here we go, guys. Welcome everybody to Keeper West Ham, the internet's favorite Tottenham game show. Added some different music to that. It's not the permanent music. It's not good.
It doesn't slap as hard, Colin. It doesn't slap as hard.
Not nearly as hard. I just needed to not get slammed. And so with that in mind, you guys, we've been talking a lot about Ben Davies. And so that inspired this from me. This is Tottenham left backs, or at least defensive players of past, present, and future. I guess there's no future here, but a past and present. And you guys have to keep one, send one to West Ham, and bench one. We'll go in order, and I'll start with Chris. If you don't know, that's Naughton, Ben Davies, and Stephen Carr. What's your choices, buddy?
Oh, I've got to keep Ben Davies because he's here. I'll bench Carr and I'll sell Norton.
There you go. Okay. And then Josh, what about you, buddy?
Keep Ben Davies, bench Stephen Carr, sell Aaron Norton.
There you go.
Kyle Naughton, Aaron Naughton. What do you think?
Kyle Norton, fucking same difference. It's Norton, isn't it?
It is.
He's his cousin.
Ian,
I think he made that
Yeah.
much of an impact at Spurs. I've forgotten his name.
Naughton who went on to have an okay career. He's a pro footballer.
I'm keeping Stephen Carr. I'm benching Ben Davies. I'm selling Carl Norton.
Yes. I'm glad. I love it when there's some different answers around. And then Ash, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, Stephen Carr, vroom vroom. I'll keep him, but it's mad because I thought he was a right back. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was watching him, I remember being a right back.
Yeah,
But
Steve
Oh, I
Clark. The other two are both right.
Left
Where does
backs.
he play?
Yeah, I thought-
not in place. But right. Where does he play football right now?
no, I thought Norton was competing with Kyle Walker when he came, didn't he? He was from
Yeah,
Sheffield.
He did, but he played left back as well. These are players that kind
Okay.
of that could
They
do
kind
both.
of touched left back. All right, but well, yeah, all right, cool.
He
Well,
was pretty shit at left
fair enough.
back.
Fair enough. All right, so I'll still keep Carr. I prefer him.
Just
I
look at him.
would.
Yeah, what a piece of man he is. He's a pretty solid dude.
I would.
I wouldn't fight him.
Ben Davies. Oof. What, current Ben Davies or Ben? Oh yeah, well, it has to be in it. Yeah, just keep Ben Davies then and get rid of Norton to West Ham.
I think the common trend here, Colin, is any footballer that had a bald head in the early 2000s, you wouldn't fuck with them.
No, I really wouldn't. Even David Beckham. I wouldn't even throw hands with him. But yeah, guys, that wasn't a great one. I just wanted to try. I'm working that intro back into my show and trying to make it legal and YouTube not get real mad. That music obviously isn't the final music. I want to say though, guys, thank you all so much for jumping in, kind of talking. I just wanted to sort of like bring things down a level because it seemed like everybody was real worked up, and it's always nice to talk with some people that are going to be chill and rational, and I really enjoyed it truly.
This is Spurs.
Yeah, we'll go around the horn here and have everybody give their final piece. I'll throw up channels for people that got them, and we'll start with to my left, Chris. What do you got to say, buddy? What's your final talking points, my man?
It's not the end of the world. We're starting afresh. Give the goddamn man a break, and let's have a bit more unity in the fan base. We're not enemies. We support the same badge, right? And a little more, unity, as I said, and a bit more love.
Boom. Hey, and there is the link for Meta Football TV right there. You guys, please make sure that you subscribe over there. Putting out good content. I looked over it, and you were putting out like lots of content, kind of small, like short form stuff. I really like it. Good stuff. Everybody, make sure you're checking that out.
That's the extent of my wizardry. I can't do much more than that, man.
Well, if you ever need help, I got you. Always Jackin says good show. Thanks always, Jackin. I appreciate you. And then we've got Ash. Ash, we can find you. I know where we can find you. Let me get that up here. The Spurs Kings TV. What's up though, Ash? What's your final say here? We lost against Arsenal. We got a match against Chelsea. Is the future bleak?
Bruv, we are Spurs, man. You have to be thick skins to be a Spurs fan, I feel like. We haven't won against Chelsea at the Bridge in I couldn't even tell you the last time we had a win there. So the record's not looking too good. However, this current Chelsea team, we just don't know which one's going to turn up. So
yeah,
that is the number $1 million question for me. But yeah, and Andrew trust, bro, all the way, man. You got to stick in the process, believe in the process, trust the process, and you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I believe. I feel like give him another, at least another 2 seasons, in my opinion. I want to see a few more windows. I just want to see what happens this summer window. But yeah, man, you can catch me on Spurs Kings TV. I've got a show tonight as well, guys. It was lovely to share screen with some of you guys. I haven't shared a screen with you guys before. So big up Josh. It was first time meeting you. Great opinions. And also big up to yourself, Ian. Lovely to meet you as well.
Yeah, you too.
Taking the notes, like as you were talking, both of you bringing out some valid points. And also in the comments, man. For me, we can't all we're not robots. We're all going to think differently. Do you know what I'm saying? And so everyone has a valid point and it all makes sense. Do you know what I mean? When we're ready, we'll all be we can all be on the other side. So there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, man, big yourselves up. Thanks for having me on, Cole. And yeah, man, big up the show. Make sure you like, guys. Please make sure you like.
Absolutes. Thanks, man. I appreciate you more than you know. It's been really nice having you on for the first time, and hopefully it's first of many, dude. And then we come to Ian, my good friend Ian. I've known for years. Ian, who's in Spain and would rather go, and I get it. There's Spanish things to go do. But I wanted you to know Ian can be found all over. He's always helping people out with shows. I don't think he has his own channel yet. Is that correct? No channel?
Yeah, no, I probably don't. Sometimes I think I want one, but I probably don't. I'm happy to come on and do shows. You can find me at Shaggy1712 on Twitter. If you don't follow me, and I'll always follow back. Although I have to tell you, I don't know with Twitter anyone finds. I suddenly find I've got Wads. That's it. Wads more followers. And I don't know where they've come from because it's not flashing up and telling me I've got a new follower. So message me or tell me. On the football side, I think we might get well beat on Thursday. Ashmatic 3 has now followed you. It's just come up. Brilliant. I'll follow you back as soon as we finish. You don't know what Chelsea's going to turn up. I think that's an absolutely brilliant point. I think they've got players to hurt us in areas where they can hurt us, but they can be crap as well. And if we get the first goal, who knows? My fear is we're going to lose 3 games. We're going to lose to Chelsea. We're going to lose to Liverpool. And we're going to lose to Manchester City. But with a bit of luck, we'll get 6 points because we'll beat Burnley and we'll beat Sheffield United. But that will tell us we'll finish 5th on that basis. And I think most people would say if we, at the beginning of the season, if we finished 5th, that would be an okay start. This idea, you got to get rid of the manager again and start again. It fills me with horror. And one of the things that modern society, and I suspect you're all a lot younger than me, when we lost a game at home to Arsenal, we discuss it on the bus going to school, in the office going to work, and that would be it. Now you've got this ubiquitous social media where we're all experts, even channels like this, and people come on, it's sack this, sack that, everything, and it creates a toxicity that you would never, of course there's nothing wrong with people having an opinion, but you don't get this toxicity. You never got this toxicity that we have now, where something goes wrong and it's sack this, sack that. We need to have some sort of reality check here. You cannot just keep changing manager. That goes back to where I said at the beginning. Someone raised Ferguson. Ferguson was another one. Ferguson went to Man United in 1986. Were you all born then? I'm not sure you were. And in January 1989, went for a cup tie away at Norwich. And the word was if they lost that 3rd round FA Cup tie at Norwich, Ferguson was out. Now, you think what was going on 25, 30 years later? Ferguson was on his way out. If he lost an FA Cup tie against a decent Norwich side. They won 1-0 and I think went on and won the cup. There is, Arteta's in his 5th year. Pep finished 3rd. We've had this. Klopp finished 8th in his 1st year. They've all gone on to have success. We absolutely need, if we've now got a manager, to back this manager and at least give him, a couple of years to see what he can do. If he continues to make the mistakes and we're still conceding these goals this time next year, we'll have to have a look at it. But again, it will be a restart. It'll be players out, players in, new tactics. There's no football team has ever succeeded. Oh, that's not true. Unless you're going to be a Chelsea and an Abramovich and just spend Russian money by the billion to be successful, and then just you can sack managers at will. If you want to build a proper football club, it has to be done from the bottom up, and it's going to take some time.
Could not have said it better myself. We have been on this manager merry-go-round for a long time. I worry if we were to sack Postecoglou, I mean, I'm sure we'll find someone for the job, but it's becoming a poison chalice at this point. It's almost like being, like Madrid manager or something. Like it's just not going to end well for you, and we definitely don't want that. But yes, that everybody was my good friend Ian, aka Shaggy1712, on
Not
Twitter.
only can you find him all over the YouTube channels, you can also find him all over the world.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true. He's a bit of a world traveler. I'm
So what, you're in Spain today. You were in Singapore a couple of months ago, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes
Yeah,
Singapore so much. I think he went
absolutely.
back. Right? You've been to, or you went to someplace twice. You liked it so much.
To the Far East twice in the last 5 months. Yeah.
Shit, man, that's incredible. That's incredible. I'm really happy that you have
Well,
it.
I'm 64. I got to do this while I still can.
Hell
You know?
yes, I'm all for it. I think that's
You only live once.
Yeah, you only live once. That is absolutely true.
Absolutely right.
So,
Absolutely
hey-
right, Josh. Yeah.
So thank you again for taking time out of your trip to join us today, and stay safe on your travels, my man.
I actually have a home here, Colin. So I'm.
Oh shoot, you're
Yeah.
okay, sweet.
Another one.
So
has
wait, you got a
hospital,
place in
so-
England as well, then?
So yeah, so there's not any great hassle.
Sweet. Sweet. Well, thank you again. And then that brings us around. Last but absolutely not least, we've got Josh. Josh, what's up, dude? It's been a while since I mean, you were on for a second the other day. But,
Yeah. I mean, I don't really appear on the channels anymore. I'm just a bit of a nomad. I'll pop up as of when I feel like.
We like having you on though. It's always nice to have you here. And there is your Twitter handle.
Yeah,
for
I'm
anybody.
mostly over on Twitter now. Like I get involved in a lot of the Twitter spaces. I post a lot of stuff on Twitter. So
You're gonna have to teach. I'm an old man. You're gonna have to teach me what the hell Twitter Spaces are. I still don't understand it. So teach me that someday.
they're basically like YouTube channels, just without the cams.
Oh, how do you tell people to shut up? And like, can everyone?
mute 'em.
What's?
You can mute
Oh.
it. It's brilliant.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. That sounds fun. But yeah, Josh, thank you for joining us, man. What's your final say, football wise?
It's process. Believe in the process, and we trust. We're going to surprise people on Thursday. We're going to win. It's going to be 2-1. It's going to be scrappy, but we need a redemption clause, and I think Chelsea's that game.
Yes, absolutely. And guys, again, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Everybody in the chat, everyone that's a member that helps support the channel in that way. Thank you. Anybody who just watches the video, slaps a like, subscribes, it all helps. It's all appreciated. I didn't get to all the comments today, but we had so many people. It was hard. I'm sorry about that. I did enjoy all of the differing opinions. So please think, even if you disagree with the majority of the panel, please don't be afraid to post your opinion. We're not going to lambast you. We're not going to take you to the cleaners for having an opinion. So again, everybody, thank you again for joining. And I thought about doing a memoriam on the James Madison song "Play Out" until he plays better, but I think I'm going to do it in hopes that we can coax some good form out of him, maybe with this song. So I'll leave everybody as normal with our James Madison song. Let me get all the comments off here. But last thing I was going to say, and I've already said it, but I wanted to say it again. El Tel Cockrell, my buddy. He is on YouTube right here. El Tel Cockrell. That is his page. He's helped me a ton, and I plan on helping him a ton. We need to get his subs up, everybody. So please go support Jose if you have not already. He's my normal co-host. He's working today. He's a good dude. And with that, though, guys, we will James Madison our way out of here. There he is. We've got him. Let me hide this, and I'll play the song, guys. And see you guys next time, everybody. Have a great day.
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James Madison. This kid plays ball like you would never believe. Whoa.